Like every Saturday, we begin here. This is Mudecha Ramadan, your modest moderator and the East African citizen, Kajuga Rogers. You're most welcome to this show. Today is Saturday, and a lot of things have happened in the country, but we shall of course begin with what is happening in the university here. I don't know. Are we going to have elections? Are we going to have Makerere leadership? Yeah, we shall see that. Introduce yourself to the people.
Yes, a good morning to our viewers. As usual, we are here to discuss this time very complicated things about our university and some other issues. So, my name is Kajuga Rogers Metanik, the East African citizen.
Complicated issues? I don't know.
both, likely both. So, I'm pleased to be here as usual. My moderator, Ramadan.
Yeah, thank you so much. Pimpa Promotions is our sponsor here. Bring your child. Parents, don't sit with them in holidays, even when they are studying. We always offer these services. If they are in school, Saturdays actually good for them. They come and learn these skills. Computer skills, graphics, those who want to have internship, journalists come. There are a lot of things, snaps, everything. Yeah, so today, as we continue, Makerere University has had lots of challenges in the last week, and it's still moving on. We certainly lost one of our colleagues from UCU. He had come to campaign for the friend, that's the FDC flag bearer, and actually it looked so bad as a university to have such cases. But then measures were taken. The University Council, first of all, suspended the elections on Thursday, and then in the meeting that came the following day, Friday, where the elections were supposed to be held, they were suspended, of course, on 15th. So that day, Friday, the university had to also suspend the Guild Council for some time. So we've been having these discussions about the fate of Makerere leadership, and of course, it is coming into the line where we've been arguing about the partisan leadership. So we have come to that ground to agree that at least Makerere is going to stay without partisanship. So it's the question we come with today. What is Makerere's future, Makerere University's future, without the partisan politics? Or what is its future today without the party politics? That's the ground. Besides that, there is an incident. We have already been into these conversations time immemorial. The Karamoja people are faced with the challenge of famine, and this is real bad. It's really driving the whole region crazy. People are affected by malnutrition, others are dying. We have a total number of about 600 so far registered. Since the incident began. But our question is, what are these causes of this famine? And also, are they not going to split into other regions of the country? So right there, I want to begin with the East African citizen. Please, coming back to the issue of the university politics. The council says that they're not going to tolerate party politics. So how do you see this future? We've been having this. Parties coming in and they support students who are standing for different positions, right from the guildship down to the college level. So we don't have, then they are going to remove this. So how do you see Makerere's future? Is it bright without party politics, or there's something lacking in this kind of drama? Thank you.
Well, thank you, our moderator, once again. One, we have had discussions about guild politics and elections. One, I have to start by saying that in the students' guild or in the guild constitution, it doesn't mention anywhere that guild aspirants have to be tagged specific political parties. So I don't know who began the trend of tagging university politics, students' politics to national parties. if anyone who started this trend started a very bad precedent for the university. As I have argued before, what the guild president should do is not identify himself or herself with the outside political actors. He should be more concerned about the students, students' causes, students' needs, not what the other party needs. Now, when I come to a Makerere with free party activities, that would be the best Makerere we can have, because this means we are focusing more on two students' needs and leaving the power play of national politics. The challenge is the conflicts we are having, they are coming from outside. People are being imported by political parties at the national scene to come and support certain candidates. Perhaps if I believe that if we didn't have these guild presidents being tagged to camps, then we would be not having this violence. Take it from me that most of the people that make processions, they are not university students. They are people who have been imported from out to make their camps look like as if they have the support. But where are the students if you are the guild president and you are really concerned about students and you need to be a students guild? You will go to the hostels, you will go to the lecture rooms, you will go to the halls of residence. But where do our campaigns take place? Our campaign takes place in all routes across campus. People with rallies. Now we have shifted from rallies now to holding concerts with musicians. Do you see this trend?
And you barely see someone giving ideas, talking about what they are going to do for the students, but you see way fronting.
Exactly. You barely see people talk about concerns or issues of students. They are talking about wewe and music.
But right there, is this incident of saying partisan politics enough to find the Makerere University have good leadership, or there are some other things we need to look at? For instance, if we remove the political parties in the university, is there something else that the university need to do to bring these good leaders on board? Because I don't think only removing political parties will solve this kind of crazy. Remember, we've been talking about this kind of the crazy kind of leadership.
That is a starting point. As we have talked, we must first remove party politics from the university. We would have solved number one challenge of people coming from out to intervene within the internal electoral processes. Second, what makes these people fight, make it a do or die policy to make it as a guild president? Perhaps in my view, I have argued that it's because the guild operates on a very chunk sum of money budget. And this budget makes people fight. If you stand on my way, I will do everything, even if it means killing, but to make it as the guild and have that amount of money that at times is even not accounted for. I don't remember as a student of Makerere University, I have seen the guild house and the regime of a guild president. If you ask me, have you ever seen the accountability of the money that your guild president had and the house? Do you know how that money was shared? Do I know? If you ask me, which activities were done in the university and it was from that budget, and how do they even directly influence your well-being in campus? Do I know?
Right there. But I would not consider that a decision as me, if I'm given that to run the processions, that we need to change this and change the other. I don't think cutting the budget, because one, we say we don't want partisan politics in the university. That's one. Secondly, if you say that you want to cut, you want to cut the budget, the money the guild receives, you people, there are a lot of activities that these people do. There's a lot they need to put on the table.
Those are the activities.
But I think the allocation of the budget was put with purpose, that it serves the interests and the whole activities the university handles in a year. I think it wouldn't be the idea that they should reduce on the budgeting. But what I would say here maybe is to put grounds where we should remold. You know, it goes to a responsibility to our political lecturers, more so from the College of Humanities. They need to bring the students on ground. Like if someone is aspiring to stand, they should know what they are coming to do, because that's where the other problems come in. That someone is coming in a party uniform, but they even don't know where to begin from. But then the other thing I would say, even if we remove this idea of partisanship, some things are going to remain. But we need, as people who are standing, also to understand. As I'm standing, let me finish this. Let me finish this one. As you're standing, I've been seeing this with the camps, Bobo Wine, these other camps. Well, before they begin a rally, they always gather. And they say, what are the do's and the don'ts in the rallies we're going to handle? We're not supposed to do this. And it's removed. If these attacks, we are supposed to fight it like this. No reiteration. I mean, no fighting back. Because such things, happen on rallies. But then I would not say that it's a point to stand here. But people who are standing should carry responsibility. You should know what you're coming for. If you don't know what you're coming, then don't come as an aspirant. That's what I would say. But I would leave the budget to remain.
Okay. I think there is one aspect. What is the root cause of people not understanding what they are supposed to do? What is the root cause? I don't want you to treat the symptoms. I want you to go down to the causes. For your information, these people you see without ideas, it's not that they don't have ideas. It's not that they don't know their responsibility.
I think that causes excitement.
It's not even excitement.
The money.
I want you to broaden your understanding.
Yeah.
If someone spends 20 million, can you spend 20 million knowing that you will not recover this money?
Of course, they have that hope that when I spend, I'm going to.
Where is that hope of recovering the money?
Fighting to win.
No, where does, after winning, where does this person recover the money from?
Of course, the budgeted money. Is going
now, should the budgeted money be how should I call it?
It remains.
Should the budgeted money for the guild to do activities for the university be used to compensate yourself because you lost money during elections? That's the root cause.
I think what we would say is that we don't need to spend much on elections, but exactly. we need to spend much on building building our brands.
So here people spend.
Yeah.
People here spend, knowing that what he is spending, he will get it. But if someone knew that I'm going to spend, but the money I'm going to spend, I'm not going to recover that money, perhaps we wouldn't be having all this noise and processions of buying all the street people, street kids, borders. If you know that you are not going to recover that money, you wouldn't. That's why I was telling you that if we can cut that guild budget, because it's too exorbitant for them. Someone knows part of my money for campaigns is there if I make it through. That means the services you were supposed to get, someone will not deliver them because he will first compensate himself. He's insured. That is an insurance policy.
But I'll pose you a question. Can someone build their brand without money or without spending too much? Is there that hope that you can build your brand without spending much money on what you're building?
Now, that would be the point of discussion. If these people knew that there is no money, can we see some competent leaders coming up saying, yeah, I'm coming as a guild president, but in that guild house there is no money. Now, people, our culture of politics would change. That now people are focusing on what does the student need. I'm coming for service, for leadership, not I'm targeting money. You have my point now.
Yeah. So can we agree that in this situation we are standing as guild presidents to build our brands outside our personal interests that are driven into getting money? Because when we see that, we shall have a free, transparent kind of leadership. That you come in, but what is your major aim of coming to stand? Or because you can't remove money from people. That's the reason why people struggle to work day and night. We cannot remove that money should get out. But have you carried the principles, the integrity to serve? If you have that, how are you doing it? How are you campaigning? Because it's another way. You'll remove partisanship and then almost you're going to remove the color of a party, but it's inside the characters. The next question I would pose, if they say that they are removing partisanship, are they going to develop other ways how leaders are going to be campaigning that are going to actually remove any element of partisanship in the university? Because on the ground, on the face you'll remove it, but inside the people, it won't go.
You
but
see,
there is this element of excitement. That
element is there because there is money. When we commercialize everything, excitement will always be there. You will not get all these miaya from the street into campus, or border people, or who, to come into Makerere when you have not secured their lunch, when you have not promised them something.
Yeah.
Remove the question of money, then you will see people becoming sober.
So let's agree on this and make a conclusion. We have seen that money is causing problems first, but then the university has taken the first step, removing political parties out of the university. And that one is driving the university into a certain corner, that now we are no longer sponsored by these parties to hold our elections. So the first point, if someone is coming to leadership, one, they will have to have their budget, their lump sum saved somewhere, because of course you can't run the elections here, though the university puts it open that anyone can stand, but you can't stand without something in pocket. You'll have to work out that. But then my ideas are rotating there. We know partisan politics is removed, but can we have grounds where anyone can come out and they stand their grounds without investing too much? That is in us as students, that I need to campaign for so and so, but they need to give me support. They need to give me money to campaign for them. But of course, that one is coming to the national level also. Remember Professor Lumumba, PO of Kenya, he said that what is making Uganda politics, Uganda leadership fail is the element of corruption. That a leader comes to power when they have invested half of their life to hold a position in parliament or at the national level. But we see that if we don't spend too much on campaigning, we shall not have these other excitements driving us into offices. Besides that, if we have other ways of convincing our electorate outside, causing a lot of commotion and a lot of excitement, we shall have that. I don't know whether you can agree on those points, that you're coming for leadership, but one, we need to hear your manifesto well stipulated to serve the interests of the students and also bridge the gap between the student and the university. Not bridging the gap between the students and the outside world. Of course, that's another challenge there. So can we agree on that point that, fine, we have removed the partisan politics, but then the electorate and the candidate have to do something to bring them to leadership, besides spending much, that's going to drive them into problems?
I don't know now if this discussion we still have the moderator and the discussant, I don't know. That is a question that you will sort later. But then, our focus should have been the University Council has taken a decision
Yeah.
to suspend guild election activities. Now, our discussion should be rotating on, is it the right step to do? How will it affect the culture and the functionality of university and the leadership at the here?
I would answer that directly. I know you're asking me that question.
I'm not asking.
One of the top leaders in the university from the meeting, I always don't want to mention people's names. He says that
You're a journalist as long as you have it on record.
let's save that. He says that when you look at the guild constitution, you don't see partisan leadership. This is just cropped in elements. Makerere University can run without political leaders. Political parties. The guild can run very well without political parties. This is just a route someone wants to use to gain a lot of support into the office. Because even when they are elected into the office, they are not going to serve the interests of the parties.
I hope that I can properly say that the university failed to play its role.
Okay.
Because if it's not part of the guild constitution, then why does these other things crop in and you keep quiet? And they are now costing us. We have lost too many because of party politics. Where have you been? So we can question the administration of the university that they somehow failed to curb these activities
In the
earlier days. So it's coming back to the weakness of the university. And usually, the university administration, when it comes in to intervene, now, you, the students, who, should I say, who feel, who need sympathy and what, you come up saying, they are gagging us, we have freedom of expression, the police shouldn't be coming, until you see your friend dying, and you say, oh, now I had people saying, the police did not do enough, the police was around, it never helped. But then when the police intervenes to help you, then you say the police shouldn't have intervened. Makerere is very interesting. Last time NUP had
the assembly.
The assembly.
Yeah.
The police said, no, we are blocking this assembly. Now you were accusing the police for doing what? For stopping the assembly, that because it's your right to assemble. And we were here discussing and people were saying the police shouldn't be doing this one. Now, there was this campaign and NUP and FDC had assemblies. The police did not intervene to do what they usually do, and you complain. Blocking them. Now someone lost a life. And that's why we are all shouting at the top of our voices, because someone died. And we are accusing the police for not doing, for not stopping
In my own view, I don't want to blame anyone for what happened. But I would say the whole intermingled situation could have been the problem. This is the cause of this. But
the blame has to be there.
What would run if we have realized that there's some failure in a certain situation? Let's now address the challenges as a university in collaboration with the administration.
The blame. My blame has always been one. I always blame the culture of party politics. But then I realized that now I'm blaming the university. Why? You can't tell me that a certain culture has cropped up now for years and it's not within the constitution of the guild constitution, and you allowed it to take place for this long.
Maybe we are leaving something. Maybe we shall say that university is under the supervision of the government, and whatever they do, it has to reflect whatever decisions they make, it should reflect a cause. Maybe we do not blame the administration so much because we penned that element of Article 29 of the Constitution of Uganda, where people have liberties. And also when you quote Section D, paragraph D of Article 29, that we have freedom to hold the associations and to join unions. But maybe we shall not blame the administration so much that they didn't put a hand to limit partisan politics in the university.
And
but now it has come out to do that.
And you well know that the rights you are talking about, it has limitations. That in enjoying that right, that guaranteed right, you also have an obligation
that is that
not infringe on the rights of others. But what has been happening is usually when we have people trying to express their freedom and their rights, they always even infringe on the rights of others, and people end up losing lives. And we question, where is that person, the regulator, who should have been overseeing all these activities? That means someone slept on what he was supposed to do.
You know, the Mujika president, sometime he said that whatever happens in Makerere University is a definition of what is happening at the national level. So it's really hard for me. I can't draw a blame to someone because they are also workers. You'll see.
No, let me ask you.
Let me add this.
No, stop there. Let me ask you. Should we be proud because Uganda is violent, that Makerere has to be violent? Should we be proud of it?
Not that, but because university is part of the country.
Yeah.
And there are some things, I don't want to mention much things here, but you'll also understand that decisions are not made independently without the question of the Ministry of Education. So they have to involve and engage the ministry. And of course, most of these policies made can either be refused and say, no, as a university, you're not going to do that.
Exactly. Now so you are on point.
If you're putting a blame, then let it be a nationwide. I'm not defending the university administration, but I'm saying there are some things they do with consultation. Then they sit on round tables and agree, let's this, let this, let this. But then,
Rama, let me tell
people
you
have been granted that responsibility and rights to do whatever they want.
If you are living in a village where fathers drink alcohol and slap their wives, will you say because I live in a village where parents or males or where husbands slap their wives after drinking, therefore you will also go and drink and slap mine because it's the environment I'm living in? No, Makerere had the audacity to do better than what happens at the national stage. In fact, that's why I'm saying I'm dissatisfied by the level of management we have. If you cannot manage a running institution and groom these people into responsible people, which means you are even the people responsible for what happens there. Because when these people finish from your institution, they go to the public to serve. So if they have been violent within the institution of running, how about if they go outside? Makerere has a chance to do better than what happens inside. If they cannot, then it's not fit to be called the running center. Which knowledge are you giving people? So some of these things we could have limited them, these unfortunate incidents. I know students want to claim so many rights, but remember you are a student. You came in as a student, not a politician. And in whatever you do, you should know you will follow the university rules and regulations. For so many times I hear when students are asked, they recite the national constitution and what? Yes, but we have in the framework of the university has rules. If the lecturer comes and says, you people, my class, you come early. 10 minutes after I have entered, don't enter. You will not go and say, but the national constitution doesn't say. No, it's the standard of the lecturer,
Yeah.
the person who will teach you. So Makerere should also establish standards and stop students from claiming all these exorbitant rights, which end up degrading its standards and its public image.
Thank you.
That's what we should concentrate on.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. We should also look at that as a key element. Now that we are moving into kind of society that is elite driven, let's come back to our grounds. We realize that we are students. We need to accord the legacy and also the integrity. The knowledge we receive should replicate, not the excitement we engage with the society. So as a leaders, you're coming to any post in the university. Party is not the solution for you to become a president, but your responsibility to lead. We thank the university administration for whichever steps they have taken, but then we shall caution them. They should be moving into lines of evaluating very well whichever policies that are put on the ground. And also ask the electorate, students who are voting for leaders, let's try to remove, to shape ourselves outside the element of I'm putting on red, I'm putting on yellow, I'm putting on blue, I'm putting on green and other colors. Let's address the uniform of I'm a student of Makerere University, I need to have a leader. These people even have less they do.
This is a disclaimer. My dressing in a blue t-shirt today doesn't represent the camp I belong to. It's simply what I had in my wardrobe. Yeah. So that is a disclaimer. Someone shouldn't think.
So I'm putting on black because we are mourning our brother, and at least I need us to have a silence of 5 seconds to ask the Almighty bless him and into the eternal life. Amen. We pray that God really, he rests in eternal peace. Yeah. So I think Makerere University is now on the move of reshaping everything. We appreciate, and we shall see good outcomes of whatever is going to happen. But then we shall request that students can't live without leadership. So as they make policies, at least we ask, when time comes, they bring back the grounds of leaders and then continue molding, because it's one of the responsibilities as a university that we have to remold leaders. I ask every concerned person to the university to look into this issue. Let's have the leaders back, and we have a good society moving on. Let's have the peace. I ask students to create peace. Everyone concerned in the university, let's create peace, because this is an institution of learning. We all come from families, and our parents are having a lot of hopes in us to study. So don't involve in any chaos. Don't involve in any kind of activity that's going to cost your life, because your parents have put a lot in you, and they really want to see a result. Thank you so much. So we move to the country. You've seen, we first of all ask the government for the good job, and the other individuals like NOP and other parties who have gone ahead to offer a hand to our brothers and sisters in northern Uganda, in Karamoja sub-region, because the region is really in a dilemma. They are faced with famine, and it has really cost a good number of lives. People are really dying because of the... Yeah, but we come to this ground. What could be the reason? If now we identify the reason, what is the measure taken? If we assess that, isn't it going to be a concern to spread into other places in the country? Like when you look at Eastern Uganda, we are at the verge of facing the same challenge. Now, among other reasons from the reports of the members of parliament and also the concerned bodies that are running these activities, they say that one, what caused the famine in their analysis, one could be the element of cattle rustling that has been happening in the region. But besides that, there has been a very huge problem, that is prolonged drought, that has claimed a lot of crops not to yield. And also the effects of COVID-19 that have diverted many people from doing crop production and also engaging in different products that are going to yield going to yield food. Besides that, there is this big challenge the region faced recently, the locusts. That these ones came and hit the green elements, the green plants, and at the end of the day, crops did not yield. So among the analysis, those are the key elements. But now we see government has taken measures, at least tons and tons of maize and beans have been driven to those regions among the affected districts. And so in the news, NOPE also took there when the principal, His Excellency Bob Wine, said that they are taking their aid at least help these people, and so the government has also done it. We really appreciate them so much for that concern, and we ask many people, those who have something, please, we ask you to offer to our friends. But so we come back to our discussion here. In other regions of the country, are we not going to register the same? I'm from Eastern Uganda, and we have seen the incidences of prolonged drought. Farmers okay, it takes long, because for us we do cultivation at the early month of the year, January, February, but this time the season has changed so much. You wait until around March, that's when the heavy rain comes. And when it comes, it rains heavily. People put seeds into the soil. Then after like a month or weeks, sun comes for like 2 months again. So whatever they put in the ground, it dries up. So you see that again, when rain begins, people do not have what to plant. So this has been a big challenge in our region there. And also the leading supply of cassava, that's our staple food in Eastern Uganda, mostly deep Eastern. That is Bugisu region, Bugis sub-region, Buked sub-region, and the Teso sub-region. Yeah, so so you see that the cassava planted, this time people delayed, more so with my Buked sub-region. Right now cassava is very expensive. Why? Many people didn't plant cassava. And the leading supply is also facing the same challenge, that is the Teso sub-region. And so a big number of families in our region, people are not having what to eat. Though the media has not yet gone into that area to realize that. When we move to the whole region of Northern, we are so scared that maybe this challenge could spread into other regions. But now we come on the ground. Is the government realizing to curb the forthcoming challenges? Or we shall just reflect and concentrate on solving what is happening, and we don't address the outcomes that are going to be knocking on the doors? There we are.
You talked about so many things.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you should address Karamoja. I don't know whether you should address the food crisis in the country. I don't know whether you should address the crisis, the
economic crisis,
the anticipated crisis in Eastern Uganda, food crisis in Eastern Uganda. So,
of course,
for the benefit of our viewers, let me start with Karamoja, because it's the issue we have at hand.
Yeah.
One, you must understand the Karamoja we are talking about, and the Karamajongs. Since time immemorial, the Karamajongs are nomadic pastoralists. These are people whose main economic activity is pastoralism, and they use it to depend on meat and blood from their animals. You remember the other slogan of "We shall not wait for the Karamojongs to develop," but good enough now Karamojong is thriving out of the struggles and underdevelopment.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the government was really trying to help or elevate Karamoja region was trying to resettle them, to abandon the other nomadic way of life into a community of people who can engage in crop growing and raise food for their household and live a settled life, not moving from one place to another. And I have to speak this for the benefit of our viewers, that the process of transforming mindset and the way of life of people, it's not something that comes automatic, like pressing on an electric bulb and it lights. No. And you see light. No. So the process of resettling the people of Karamoja to make sure that they abandon their culture of nomadic pastoralism and they adopt the modern way of living a better and settled life where they have food and maintaining their cows in an enclosed farm and taking their children to school and seeing the roads and having water sources, fetching water from valley dams, not to move from one place to another where there is water and live where there is no water. It's a very tiresome and complicated process. And I believe the problem of Karamoja emerges out of that situation, that intervention of trying to resettle them. But in the process of resettling, I don't know, we get into the insecurity crisis where groups are invading each other for cattle. And in any community where we have insecurity, there is no productive activity can go on, that can go on. That means people are not settled. Someone who was supposed to go to the garden will not go there. A child who was supposed to go to school will not go to school. A health worker who was supposed to be at the health center will not travel there. This is where the situation of Karamoja goes out of hand, that we have insecurity going on in the region. The causes of insecurity, I will not derive deep into them. So, Karamoja has two problems: insecurity, and is a community that has been depending on their cattle and they are trying to resettle into a new life. So you see a whole community at crisis. We are saying crops have been drying because of drought, but you get to know that even this is not a typical farming community. So if there is drought, they are the region to be hit most because they are not used to. Then when you even, to make it worse, you add the insecurity problem where there are cattle which used to be a source of livelihood. They are now being stolen away from them. Imagine the person who has been depending on his herd of cattle as a source of income. Now it has been rustled and taken away. And this person has no side garden or source of income to depend on. Basically, this person will die of hunger. That's the cause of the problem in Karamoja. But then, that was the genesis of the problem for Karamoja. How should we have addressed it? I want to say, this is something that caught us off guard. No. This was anticipated that Karamoja has to suffer from famine. Why? Be it drought, insecurity, or a not settled community, or a community that is trying to settle. We knew that Karamoja has to be hit. Just like all the preceding years that we have been that have been
but this time
previous years.
Too much.
So which means this government have not had a strategy or did not give it priority to help the people of Karamoja. And just as you said, in eastern region, the same problem is likely to happen. But now no one feels that these people actually, their gardens dried, we should be planning to help them. No one. Until you start dying and failing to get what to eat, that's the government. That's when the government will be touching there, here, and there.
Correction. For people of Eastern, they can grow crops. actually they can store food. But the challenge they may face, and they are really likely, it's already happening, is this economic crisis. Yeah, because at least there's been a transaction. People have been able to buy food and store. Yeah, but because the economy is really, the commodities are really hiking, the inflation.
Commodities are hiking, and again, coupled with drought.
The drought here, most of the times, because the way season is
Yeah.
shaping, it's not
Climate changes.
It's just abrupt. You see, the season rain is supposed to begin, it doesn't. People have to wait. And because some of our people are not sensitized to target well this rain, it comes, someone remove everything they have in their house, they plant it. And the following day, drought will come and dry that they have planted. Then they will begin asking, please neighbor, help me with some maize I plant, because mine got destroyed by the drought.
Now, that is a problem that we cannot address as a society. This is a problem that needs direct government intervention, and not intervention of bringing food to people. That is a short fix. That is, you can fix the problem for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Here what we need a comprehensive program
Communication
from
strategy.
government that actually we anticipate that between in this year, these 2 months, people may fail to get what to eat. As the government, we are doing steps A, B, and C. So we expect the people to store enough food. But if the government doesn't have that strategy, doesn't design programs meant to make sure that people are aware of what is coming, then we cannot run away without suffering such problems like famine.
Actually, this is what I told my people when I went back to village. When I went back home, I told Mom, you know what? At least we have to confuse the season is in the year. We have a season that begins from January and runs from May. Then we have another season that runs from June, but it is effected in July up to like October. So I told them, don't get tired of planting this simple food. Plant beans, plant maize, plant soya, as we put some good chunks of cassava. That these ones can help us as we wait for the big cassava the one that takes long time, the perennial. The perennial to get what? To get ready. So mom did that, and I was happy. Recently they brought me some beans. I said, wow, this is so good. About 20 kilograms of beans. I said, Mommy, you know what I told you? When you plant these beans, even if that day we don't have anything.
The fruits of your advice.
Yes. Yeah. So I think if the government can mold these programs to our people, like mostly with Eastern Uganda, okay, other regions, tell them the seasons are really confusing. So what you have to do, plant and leave some in the house, so that when this one gets dry, you'll still do that. Don't get tired. But then there are other things they need to do. Our soil right now is, when you go to our land, basically, the soil has lost its fertility. Just because of a lot of things we do. I don't want to sound so conservative, but there are some fertilizers we are using in our plants that are causing more worse than good.
Well.
Yeah, but we are forgetting there is what we call organic manure. That is not related to anything like artificial fertilizers, and these ones can really help us. Like the cow dung. When you remember when they were teaching us to make that organic manure from the leaves, from the what? I think even schools have to involve in this. You know, you can't address famine today that you're going to give people only food and you leave that. But there is something we need to come back and remind ourselves. What were those people doing? Those people of long ago, what were they doing? Because they didn't suffer any famine. It could just come. Like I remember in 1994, 93, there was famine in our region called the Kikapu. That hit people, and actually but it was just a cause of something that was addressed. Then in around 2016, we had another kind of famine called the Akavera Kabulaka, that thing. So it hit people, the black appeal famine. Then we addressed it. So the government, in doing the much, do we need to do? And I think it's not only the government, everyone is concerned. You have your people back home, advise them. Please do this and the other. We have these new methods of farming, do them.
Well, what I don't want us to adopt, I don't want you to take yourself as a chief advisor, that when you advise people, they will automatically do what you have told them.
Yeah.
Because that is on a smaller scale. Before we lose the debate, I want to put it forward that even if we had 100 advisors like you, provided the government does not make a proper strategy, we cannot prevent ourselves from suffering such shocks. What I'm saying is that this government lacks a proper strategy of curbing these eventualities, these crises.
There's a ministry. There's a ministry.
Well, and Uganda is one country that is funny. Let me tell you something. As we speak, we have the people of Karamoja suffering. Let me tell you what is happening. I happen my mom said, "How are you doing there?" She told me, "We are here. We have bananas. They are ripe everywhere, and we don't have where to put them." He actually told me that the whole store is full of ripening bananas. I said, "What happened?" There is the other hotel woman who used to come and buy. She told me, actually, I went to that lady to come and buy bananas. She told me that someone gave her the whole plantation, that you come and be cutting at whatever price you wish.
That was a very bad thing.
This is what is happening in Western Uganda. You can get a bunch of banana at 2K. You can get the biggest bunch of banana from a farmer. This is now the price from the farmer. The biggest bunch at 3K.
Wow.
Then, families that don't have bananas now, that don't own plantations, can get bananas for free if they are in the same village. Which means now everyone in Western Uganda can afford to buy a banana. But we have another region that is terribly hit by famine. And these two regions are under the same government. Can you tell me the problem? We have one region, a person having food and doesn't see even anyone buying. He leaves it to rot. We have another region where someone doesn't have even what to eat. One meal cannot afford one meal a day.
The reports, they said that a family, there is this fermented, what they use to make the walaji.
It's what they eat.
What they are eating.
Now, I said these two regions are under the same government. Now, if we are questioning who is wrong, who is getting wrong, it's not the Karamojongs. It's not the other person who has enough food that is even failing to get a buyer. It's now the person, the government, who is supposed to be catering for the welfare to make sure that this farmer gets market for his product and the other person, a citizen, gets food. This is where I'm saying that this government lacks a proper strategy on how to address such crises. We can't have such disparities where we have a region that is giving food to dogs, cows, and we have some people dying of hunger, and they are also citizens.
I think
this is something we must.
But then we have the high-candy fuel prices. How will someone really transport to that far? And yet they also need to get some profits.
The intervention they did was buying posho and beans. Do you know how much a sack of posho costs? And do you think that these interventions were taken by horses from wherever they bought posho, that horses had to run up to Karamoja? No, they used fuel. And by the way, for your information, a sack of posho is now very expensive.
Yeah, true.
Besides saying that bananas, they are perishables, by the time they reach there, they might be ripe. But of course, we transport bananas from Western Uganda to Kampala.
Yeah.
And after reaching Kampala, they spend another week without getting ripe.
Yeah.
Which means if we have a situation as acute as one of Karamoja, we can have a robust program of taking trailers to Western Uganda. If a bunch of banana is at 2K, the government can afford even to benefit this farmer and buy it at 4K.
Yeah.
Transport all these bananas to where? To northern region. I don't know if those people eat bananas, but I know when the available, when what you need is not available, you eat the available.
Yeah,
we can help to address the situation in Karamoja using our own food at a cheaper cost.
True. Yeah, so, yeah.
At a very cheap cost.
You look at, that one is easy. If the
But
government has
now,
to address it,
they will tell you that the government procured around 100-something billion to give food to the people of Karamoja.
and it's not enough.
And you will hear that actually the people of Karamoja were given like 20 kilograms of beans and 20 kilograms of posho. And after a month, these people will be into hunger again. And the government will say, we gave them food. Do you see? But actually that 130-something billion that the government set aside to offset the famine in Karamoja, if they said, let's benefit the farmer in Western region by buying their products and transport them another region, it would be cheaper. It wouldn't even cost those 100 billions. But when we say, let's procure posho and beans from these people who trade here in Kampala, they will tell you, we bought one sack of posho at 120,000, when a sack of posho is maybe at 70. Someone is making it a project.
Each is bought at 200, and you will have to add another 200
to transport. This
This
is the crisis I'm telling you, that some of these things, we could address them as a country if the government had a plan, a strategy for its citizens.
Thank you. According to me, I think every strategy can work. We need, first of all, address the challenge, fine. Let them be given food, but there should be something to be done to curb the problem in the long run.
So,
yeah. Grounds measures.
All we have been talking about their short fixes. What can we do to offset the hunger, to make someone who was dying today not to die? But in the long run, what should we do? I don't think the idea of making the Karamojongs live a settled life by making them start crop growing, something they were not used, is a good idea. We are neglecting a big aspect of culture. If I'm making a program for the people of Karamoja, I will first know what are they interested in. These people are cattle keepers. So if I'm doing any intervention for the people of Karamoja, can we have modern cattle keeping in Karamoja? Can they be proud in their own culture? Can we have dairies in Karamoja? Can we have beef companies in Karamoja that actually a Karamojong can be having his herd and sell a cow and get some good money into his pocket? Can this cow you have been rearing for 10 years and it has never produced 50 liters of milk, can you help him get a proper breed that can give him milk he can take to market here in Kampala and afford to take his child to school and go and buy food from communities that actually grow food? That is a long-term plan that you are enabling, you are empowering these communities to earn from what they are doing, not giving them something new they have to do to survive.
Yeah, you're right, but we also should look at building both the internal and external integration. Fine, bring everything that can suit in the place. I think what the government has been doing, they have been trying to mold these people turn away from from farming, then pastoralism, and they have to adopt some crop growing. That is, I would say it's a horizontal kind of integration. But then they forgot that there is what we call vertical, where they just broaden on the same thing they are doing, but they integrate. They make it more scientific. Like animals they rear, they bring that.
In my view,
before you continue, I think that cannot be only done in Karamoja. The same ideas can be spread to other regions. We have a region like Eastern Uganda, where I come from. People can adopt everything, because we are communities where, fine, we grow crops, but still we can embrace the idea of rearing animals. So, and then our soil can favor that. But then when you go to Karamoja, as you're saying, sometimes you go to communities where you don't see rain for a very long time. So the best suit for that is to give them animals. But then these animals should not be with idea that they should eat grass, but there are these other foods for the animals. So if you give them the Frisian cattle, at least
we are talking about issues of finding solutions for national development.
Yeah.
And we must learn from other states how they run things.
But of course, then you look at
how they avoid.
Can the government do all of those things in the current situation?
No, we are talking about long-term plans.
Yeah.
We left short-term fixes. Yeah. We are talking about long-term plans.
And I'm in the same light. But I was.
Let me tell you, once you want the same region to be growing crops, to be rearing animals, you are wrong. That's not how things are done. Now, can you go to the US in California and you say you people start digging?
No, I was saying that because we are indigenous communities.
No.
To some extent, listen, to some extent, there are some communities that can at least do that. Because when you go to those districts, you find that a certain place in Kotido, people can do what? Farming. This place is really bad. Just to give them.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what
if in eastern region, if you are growing crops, can we strictly empower the people of eastern region to continue with crop growing, but not to come and say you people? Then if the soil is bad, why should you be growing crops? Then we shall bring some other activity.
Yeah, right.
Now in Karamoja, the soil is bad. We know. But now you are saying these people are hungry because they did not grow crops. You don't expect them to grow crops.
That can embrace that. Then
exactly, that's why there is a point you are not taking. I'm saying in the long-term fix, what we should do is empowering community by what they are able to do. We have what we call comparative advantage. What you can do competitively. You have competitive advantage in what you are doing. If you can do animal rearing, we are going to make all the necessary conditions for you to do animal rearing. That was the correct intervention for Karamoja. If in eastern region, you say we grow
those people can do both.
Maize, maybe we grow cassava and potatoes, the government should design a strategy to make sure that the entire eastern region is the hub for cassava production. And it supplies to other regions.
Like in Central,
if really in Central we say it's a crop growing region, they can grow maize. We shall make an intervention for the Central region to make sure that they are the chief producers of maize. If we say in Western Uganda, as I said, they grow bananas, we are going to make sure that we empower Western Uganda to be a region leading in producing bananas.
We are forgetting something here. Now, your strategies are good, Now, when you come to central, urban central, let them be driven into the reduce taxes on businesses that they do, so that they can interest themselves in getting those commodities they sell to the, and also benefiting from the businesses. And then there are those central regions that are still, by the central is gifted in fertile soils. Then they also, of course, they have moved to different places. Mukono, you go to Luwero, you come to Wakiso. Those people are growing, have at least embraced the crop production. That is a new model, mechanized, but still with the new technology.
So now,
you get
if
that.
you are going to help Karamoja, you want their cattle keepers, now you are telling them to invest in farming, in crop growing.
Yeah.
Now if you are drawing a strategy, giving money you want to mechanize agriculture, which proper intervention, which machines, which resources do you take to this group?
Yes.
So before we address the question of which region should do what in Uganda,
What can it do?
what is the comparative advantage
In
of
that
this region?
Yeah.
We are not going to address some of these issues. If we say Eastern region grows maize, and the maize in Eastern region is consumed only by people in Eastern region, we are losing a point. That means the person who is growing maize in Eastern region will not sell, because he's growing it for consumption. That person is not getting money. In the Western region, we grow bananas. In Central, they grow bananas. That means a person from Central does not need to have bananas, does not need to buy bananas,
You see,
because he has them, which means there is no market for the bananas grown the other side.
Yeah.
But if we say Western region grows bananas, Central grows maize, in the East they grow, maybe they grow cassava. Then we go to the north, potatoes, and these people are cattle keepers, and we know. I'm in Western Uganda. I'm having a business, it uses cassava. Where am I going to go to get cassava? I'm going strictly to give money to someone in Eastern Uganda.
They bring it to me.
So you will be proud as a farmer of cassava, because someone came from somewhere knowing that you will supply. You get?
Yep.
But as long as we remain in the confused system that each community can try and err in each and every category of a crop, then we are not going to avoid instances of famine. I don't know if you are seeing my argument.
Let me understand.
Let me show you something else.
Let me try to give you a light here. You said that a community cannot grow one crop anyway. That we should first agree on that.
A crop?
It cannot grow only, cannot specialize
Of
in
course.
one thing. But let me give you this
You can
instance.
specialize in one thing, but it doesn't stop you from growing
You should
others.
have others,
Yeah,
fine.
but-
Because why I'm saying so, we have seen Western Uganda in milk production.
Yeah, and by the way, they do well.
Ah.
They do well.
And they are really the greatest, the biggest suppliers in the whole
They are
country.
the biggest suppliers.
But then they grow bananas.
They grow bananas.
And still they are best suppliers in that.
Yeah.
So a region can be identified in not only one opportunity, but at least many. You get that? Yeah, so thank you so much. As we really wind up, we are so blessed. Government, you've had this information from the elite. We also add the voice and say, at least before we intervene, let's first understand what the community can do, and we help them in doing that. Those who are targeting to embezzle money from the government into their stomachs, please, this is a national concern. If you intend to do that, just know that God is looking at you, and even these people who are